生き残りたくばあの剣の力を受け入れろ。さあその肉体回復したぞ。感じるか冥界の力を。冥界に触れたな。もはやお前に安息の祝福はない。今こそ我々と一つになれ。
I had a few options with the first Berserker, and of course I downloaded it on the Steam Deck, and the rest, as they say, is this video you're watching right now. Unfortunately, I didn't get to record myself beating the second chapter boss on deck, because OBS, in its endless reliability, decided that it would start cutting off the video feed in the middle of my fight. Also, I haven't beaten the second boss yet. Editing Connor here, I took a small break from putting this video together and actually managed to kill the second boss in one try. But I'm here to talk about the first Berserker demo and how it runs on Steam Deck, because that's probably what you're here for too if you clicked on the video for the title. And the good news is that first Berserker runs really well on the Steam Deck. The demo, at least. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, given the art style and the fact that this was made by Meeple, the Dungeon Fighter Online crew. During gameplay, I found that the Steam Deck generally runs in the high 40s to 50s frame rate, with occasional dips in the middle. And then one or two cutscenes just murders the Steam Deck and knocks it down to about 10 FPS for a little bit. GPU is doing the bulk of the work here. Default settings are at medium for most of the options, with some at low. There isn't much in the way of resolution options out of the box. I got a pretty decent frame rate keeping the default settings. If you're thinking about playing with a keyboard and mouse, don't. This genre is clearly meant to be played with a controller. First Berserker is a Soul game at heart, but it doesn't feel as cool or punishing as other Souls games. You notice pretty early on that the combat is giving you a lot of stuff to work with. Chiefly, your slain enemies drop gear hand over fist, to the extent that it feels like an ARPG at times. I stored half a dozen items in each gear slot by the end of the demo, occasionally duplicates of things I already had. It makes going back and farming enemies more fulfilling because they might drop useful gear in addition to the soul currency. And yes, there is soul currency that the game calls Ligma. You also have gold, which doesn't drop on death and has no use in the demo that I could find. There's also upgrade materials that can be found for crafting that also have no use yet. And you get little knickknacks and consumables that can help in battle, like an item that grants you temporary flame elemental damage, or one that actually gives a lot of health at the cost of some of your spirit. But you have to use them wisely, especially in the demo, because once you use them, they're gone. But I wanted to circle back on how the first Berserker is constantly giving you things and talk about the bosses, because I really like the boss fight reward mechanics. Boss fights give you stuff. By which I mean, even if you lose, you'll receive a stipend of Ligma based on how much damage you dealt. After Chapter 1, you open up a skill tree that gains experience separately by simply engaging in combat. So if you get railed by a boss 10 times in a row, you've come out of it with a good payout of soul juice and experience, and unlocked a few more skills and gained some more stats. You're encouraged to keep fighting the boss to get better at its mechanics, rather than going off and farming normal enemies for hours, but you can also do that if you prefer. You kick off Chapter 1 with dual-wielded swords, and over the course of the demo, you get your hands on broadsword and spear weapons. I was much better at throwing perfect blocks than I was dodges, but your mileage may vary. Toward the end of the demo, on the final boss, the skill kicked in, and I suddenly got really good at performing perfect dodges. My only complaint with the Steam Deck is that the small screen makes reading timing on blocks harder than a big television, although that can be fixed by hooking the deck to a dock. First Berserker does look great on the Steam Deck, thanks to the small screen and art style, and performance remains steady enough that it never lagged during a fight, even during the big show-off boss fights. I can only blame my own stupidity for a lot of my deaths, and I will note that playing on the Steam Deck makes fluid gameplay a little harder. Moving your left thumb from the joystick to the D-pad to pop a potion during a tense fight adds some extra delay, although I could have easily fixed that by making use of the back bumpers. Again, my own stupidity. But if you're looking for a demo to play, I highly recommend First Berserker. If you don't like Souls games because of the difficulty, you might find this one more accommodating. On the other hand, if you like Souls games because you're a masochist, you might think this is on the easy side. Either way, you should like and subscribe for more deck videos. I'm going to put up a compilation of my saved video cuts of the game so you can see longer bits in action. That'll be a separate video upload.
目が覚めたようですね。その鬼人と戦うためには雪山の試練を乗り越えなければなりません。お気をつけください。その鬼人はただものではない。打ち払うためには命を懸けねばなりません。
この肉体が我々には必要だ。